This was lazy, laborious, atrocious, and a whole bunch of other words that I can't wait to use during this evisceration of this motherfucking terrible episode of wrestling television. Vince McMahon has just fucking given up. The writers don't fucking care. The wrestlers do. But man, they're suffering, and the few remaining fans sticking around, they're really suffering. I can't wait till they go back out on the road so fans can boo this fucking shit out of the building. I really feel bad for the wrestlers. I'm John Rant with my review of WWE Raw, and if you can't tell, I did not enjoy this episode. And I'm going to explain why I didn't enjoy this episode. One, it's Go Home Raw for Hell in a Cell. That's right, in 6 days, Hell in a Cell is happening. And some of the matches might actually be good, but here's the problem. This particular show made me not want to see anything. It was so goddamn lazy. Any of the positives were way down in the creative quagmire gate, the fucking creative muck, the bottomless pit of fucking muck. I need to do something. There we go. I can get fucking motivated here. Yeah, I was really angry watching this. And let me make it clear, I love wrestling. I have loved wrestling since 1985. Through the dips and everything. Through the Jim Hurt era in WCW. Through the Vince Russo era in WCW. Through the New Generation era. Through the cartoonish era. Through a lot of bad times in WWE. A whole bunch of bad stuff. The stuff in NWA, TNA, and, you know, the dips and everything, and the peaks, and the Hogan era, and New Japan, and all this stuff. I love wrestling. I honestly love wrestling. I'm reviewing 4 different wrestling promotions. New Japan, NWA, AEW, WWE, trying to do retro stuff. And you know what? I don't think I've seen an episode this lazy and this bad in a while. And it feels like I'm saying that a lot, but this was just such a hodgepodge of creatively bankrupt bullshit. Now, I'm sorry if I'm blowing your ears out. I'm probably going to have to put a warning in the description to not have your volume too goddamn loud. Turn down your lights where applicable. So, recaps of the complete desecration and evisceration of Shayna Baszler's character. And I love Shayna Baszler. I don't want her to go on a dominant 14-month run, you know, as champion again, but they might as well just send her home. I'm going to be honest, even though the women were featured a whole lot on this show, they were barely featured in anything good, and if they were featured in anything where they were allowed to go out there and wrestle, they had dodgy finishes, or they had a whole bunch of, like, you know, brawling and everything. Oh, let's just have run-ins, let's have aftermaths and stuff like that, because apparently they just decided to take a look at old WCW, like, you know, the last couple of years and said, yeah, let's just have run-ins and let's just have a whole bunch of stuff to juice this thing up, because they're going back out on the road, and goddamn, let's just fucking jump into it. Alexa has put Lily in timeout. Maybe they're realizing that this whole thing isn't working. If you guys like Alexa Bliss's character, fine. I have nothing against Alexa as a person. I hate this character. I hate the doll shit. And they probably got a lot of backlash. They might have gotten some attention from last week's terrible ending. One of the worst fucking endings to Raw in a number of years. They probably realized, hey, we're going to go back out on the road. Maybe we need to put this in timeout. You shouldn't have fucking done it in the first place. So, Nia then shows up suddenly and says, what happened to you? We used to be friends. Did Nia not remember the feud that they had 3 years ago? You remember when Alexa was shaming Nia for being big? It didn't make me root for Nia anymore, but, you know, and it's not going to be the only time something gets referenced here for women being bigger than the norm, I guess, whatever the norm is. But anyway, Nia's like, we used to be friends. Alexa, we were never friends. Hey, Nia says, I'll challenge you. I accept. This was the first few minutes of the goddamn wrestling program. Just fucking embarrassing. And then Charlotte is still on a power trip. Said her and Rhea will have the best match at Hell in a Cell. This Sunday, by the way. And yeah, Charlotte, congratulations. You and Rhea might have that. You would have had the best match at WrestleMania 36 if, oh, I don't know, creative had been smart and had Rhea beat Charlotte. But now they couldn't do that. And Rhea's character has, you know, her gimmick, her aura has suffered ever since. I can't wait for the day for Charlotte to just leave. I have nothing against her as an athlete. But she's just fucking horrible to listen to. I don't care if she, you know, has passion for wrestling. I'm annoyed at the mere sight of her. And not even like, I want to see her get beat up. No, I'm fucking sick of her. I'm fucking sick of her being shoved down everybody's throats. I don't want to see her anymore. Anyway, Nikki Cross versus Charlotte. Rhea's music hits, and we nearly got the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling surprise roll-up in the first minute. And then that led to a break. Commentary was laser-focused on pointing out how laser-focused the WWE wrestlers were. And I'm going to call them wrestlers even though they're called superstars because they're fucking wrestlers in wrestling tights and wrestling outfits in a wrestling ring, Vince McMahon. You idiot, Bruce Pritchard. You goddamn stupid hick. Get the fuck out of here, Bruce Pritchard. And Johnny Ace, Mr. Excitement. I have a feeling that Johnny Ace is going to pretty much wreck the women's division, and you know why. So, Later, Charlotte is gloating in front of Rhea, who's just sitting there looking strong, powerful, beautiful, and I want her to step on me. Moving on. Nikki got the victory because Charlotte got counted out. And then Nikki gets beat down. I don't know what they're doing with here. They're going to slot Nikki in for the triple threat. Riptide to Charlotte. Okay. Jeff and Riddle are talking backstage. Jeff talks about Orton. Hide your screwdrivers. Hide your wives. And facing Morrison because apparently this is Raw from the fall of 2006. And then Riddle babbles. Jeff leaves. Orton shows up and says, don't try to be another Orton. Just try to be Riddle. Well, Riddle doesn't take no for an answer, Orton, so maybe you don't want to have him be Riddle. Morrison versus Jeff Hardy. Why is there a match from the fall of 2006? Why is the Intercontinental Championship not on the line? Melina is currently wrestling in the NWA. Man, 15 years, and Morrison moves great. Jeff moves like a tranquilized gazelle. So, at one point in the beginning, Jeff Hardy got a face full of Morrison's dripstick. A big facial of his giant dripstick. Right, man, I'm going to tell you right now, when you take a face full of some other man's dripstick, you are going to go down. Always delete your search history, by the way. And Cedric shows up, and the match ends after Jeff's neck gets dropped on the ropes, and then Starship Pain 1, 2, 3 in 5 minutes. Cedric, then, by the way, who lost to Jeff Hardy, they don't know what the fuck they're doing with Cedric. Take the mic out of Cedric's hand. Cedric, I'm sure, has energy, but my God, the material they're giving him, he sounds like he's having his balls strangled every fucking time he talks, and it's really sad because Cedric has passion. When he got signed, after that match with Kota Ibushi at the Cruiserweight Classic, hard to believe Kota Ibushi ever competed on a WWE program. Could you imagine what would have happened to Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. if they had signed with WWE? My God, my heart breaks. Cedric is just yelling at him and says, well, I should have retired your ass. And Jeff says, fine, if you beat me, I'll retire. Okay. And then they have a match where, hey, Jeff wins with a swanton. What was the point of this? Nothing. Fucking nothing. He hit with the grace of a falling jet engine. Anyway, Drew and Lashley recaps. And, okay, so, all right. Everybody wants to hear what I got to say about Eva Marie. One I want to say about Eva Marie is she should probably focus less on the evolution and maybe having better opinions about athletes kneeling at during the national anthem. And if you know, you know. Her, husband, significant other, assuming they're still married, gives a, bad name to anybody named John or Jonathan. I have never liked Eva Marie. I understand that, yes, she did defend wrestling being, a contact sport and defend it against Mia Khalifa or whatever the fuck her name is. The one that looks like a pile of Arby's roast beef left on the surface of the sun and then put on the dark side of Neptune. That goddamn piece of shit. That fucking goddamn moron. Man, I have overshot my voice yelling about all this shit. But let me tell you, besides that, Eva Marie, and I don't care if she's trained, this is a bad idea. And she took on Piper Niven, who they didn't even reference. They didn't even reference Piper's name. They didn't call her Piper. They didn't call her, they didn't call her Poppy the Piper. Poppy managing her would have actually been good. But yeah, they didn't call her Piper Niven. Somebody, and this is from Sean Ross Sapp, because he does a lot of reporting. He put out a tweet saying that WWE may be considering, and I'm covering my ass here because he said that, using the name Doudrop. Cool, they're going to give her Doudrop. Look it up. I mean, it's not anything sick. Seriously? Just fucking send her home. Send her home with pay. If you're going to call her something like that, you're going to bury her right there. And I don't like to use the word bury. They're going to bury her right there. She took on Naomi. Eva was outside the ring. And Piper wins in like 2 minutes. She smashes her. Naomi can make anybody look good. I'm not the biggest Naomi fan, but she's a tremendous athlete. She does deserve better. No, I'm not going to start the hashtag. Piper beating her wasn't the issue, but Eva was the goddamn focus. She declared herself the winner. Look, I want to say this much. I hope that they actually can be smart and use Piper properly. And I do want to say really quickly, if you're going to fat shame Piper, oh, Piper's not in great shape, oh, she's this. I met some women that, were bigger, I guess you could say, at some indie shows. And they were some of the best athletes and also some of the nicest people ever. So I just want to say that right now. It doesn't matter what your body size is. If you're healthy and you can go in the ring, it doesn't matter what your size is. If you're careless like Nia Jax, and yeah, you open yourself up to criticism being a shit worker. Piper can fucking go. To me, she can go 30 minutes easily, not be winded, because she's really good at working a strong style, but she's also pretty agile and can do some really good stuff. And I look forward to them not utilizing that, because WWE doesn't know how to handle this stuff. Naomi, put her on SmackDown, have her be part of Roman's stable. At this point, what the fuck else can you do? I thought her teaming with Lana was the worst thing. But Piper does not deserve to be shamed because of her weight. Now, if it gets to the point where it's obvious that something's unhealthy for any athlete, then yes, let's address our concerns. But let's pick our shots, like taking shots at Eva Marie for being all red everything in the biggest, grandest sense. And you can have different opinions all you fucking want as far as politically. Eva's a goddamn idiot. And she doesn't deserve this second chance. I'm sorry, she doesn't. She's been on the books since September. And they finally brought her here. And this is what they're doing. Oh, but it's going to lead to Piper, being bullied and then beating up Eva. Great. Okay, cool. Who's this going to benefit? Because they're going to forget about it. Remember what they did with the Nia Jax, Alexa thing I talked about? They're going to forget about that. It's not going to be good. I will gladly eat crow if I am wrong. But I'm going to wait until the end of the storyline before they do it. I give them till SummerSlam before Eva beats Piper in like 2 minutes. And they just freaking, put her on main event, and they just don't utilize her at all. It's a shame because Piper is talented, but goddamn it, Dewdrop. If they call her Dewdrop, what the fuck? Anyway, by the way, fuck the fact that Eva Marie thinks that, she should have an opinion on athletes kneeling or whatever. It's like, yeah, Eva, I can make a certain joke, about that, but I'm not going to because it's so easy to take shots at you. Pick your side or pick your shots. Pick your place to fire some shots out, because guess what, Eva? You got plenty of room for people to take target shots at you. Anyway, I don't really care for Eva, in case you can't tell. Piper, I hope they utilize her better. So, Mandy and Nana are doing a photo shoot where apparently they are 40s pinup models now. They are interrupted by Natty and Tamina training. And then they say stagey shit, and I like Natty. A snooker around 3 other women, I don't think is a great idea. And they do stagey brawl. So anyway, we get Drew calling Lashley Trashly, and then talks about Big Willie style, getting jiggy with it. And then his big, huge, throbbing Claymore. And then they couldn't do anything about it because of the huge pile of corpses in front of them. The Atlanta PD on June 25th, 2007. Anyway, New Day versus RK Bro. It was fine. Orton and Riddle worked as good heels. And, yep, this pretty much was just... It still involved Riddle, so I still have a hard time really enjoying this. The RKO for 3. The match went a while, but, it was what it was. Recast of Charlotte, Nikki, and Rhea. And then Rhea tells Sarah that she'll send Charlotte to the back of the bus, the line. And then she'll say her favorite word. Shout out to my friends that'll get that. And then Rhea versus Asuka. Cool. I love this. I want both these women to step on me. That's another story. And I love these women. Seen this match before. Didn't care. Action was great. Didn't care. You can keep feeding people the same goddamn thing, and eventually they're going to get tired of it. If you eat candy all the time, you're going to get sick of candy. You're also probably going to get diabetes, so eat in moderation. So anyway, Riptide, 1, 2, 3. And then Charlotte comes out in a honeycomb orgy suit. I don't know what the hell that thing was. And they have a boulevard, and Charlotte's nose is bleeding. I actually hope she's okay. But whatever. I don't care, because Charlotte's probably going to beat Rhea, and then the women's championship's not going to mean anything. So anyway, the Irish guy that's not named Sheamus asks Lashley why Styles is facing Drew, and MVP runs him down, and Lashley says that he's gonna mount Drew on a stick. Now, I might have misunderstood that, but he's the Almighty. He's the Almighty, wanting to, put his head or put Drew on his stick. So I guess he wants to measure his Almighty against his Claymore. Moving on. Alexa versus Nia. One of the worst WWE matches that they put on television. I hate the Alexa character. I hate Nia Jax. Reggie eventually got involved, causing a DQ. And then she uses spoopy magic, doing this and this and this, and tilting her head and everything. And I fucking hate it. Whoever fucking came up with this shit deserves to be slapped with a goddamn brick. Then MVP is trying to drive a wedge between New Day. Kofi bows up to him, but he says, well, good luck at your match on Hell in a Cell. Oh, you don't have a match at Hell in a Cell. Hey, if they have Kofi join MVP, I'm not against it. They won't. It'll be Xavier because Swerve, bro. But anyway, Elias versus Riker. Nobody likes Jackson Riker. Why are they trying to make us cheer for Jackson Riker? If you think you like Jackson Riker, you're wrong. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but if you're going to cheer for Jackson Riker, in this case, you're wrong. Because nobody should cheer for a goddamn piece of shit like him. And plus, he's not really that good in the ring. He has no benefit to a wrestling program, especially a big one. So anyway, Elias got counted out. Hell in a Cell card rundown. Drew versus Styles with almost Lashley and MVP are on the stage with the ladies. And then Drew uses some power and tosses Styles around. And almost and Lashley and MVP try to interfere. And the Viking Raiders show up. And oh no, we're getting a 6-man tag. Oh no, we don't yet. We get a melee after the break. And then we get a DQ. And then we get a 6-man tag where big men smash into each other. And Claymore and Lashley, 1, 2, 3. In fact, here. So like a fucking sick guy. Fuck this show. I'm going to keep watching it because you guys enjoy me watching it. And I'm not giving up on it. But I've also given up on it because Raw is really, really dire. Really, really dire. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.